Hello, hello! Welcome back to the House of Witchcraft for you folks that are returning, and to the new witches joining us. Nice to see ya! Welcome home! We've kept the sacred fires lit for you. And with that said, we're going to talk about creating sacred space. Seems to be self-explanatory, but I've read a couple of threads. Seems a couple of folks here might be a little confused and we just lost Paka.
He'll come around. You'll see him around in the video.
And of course Dana.
Hello.
Who is joining me for another video today. And her cat Paka, who made a brief appearance. And
the most important star of the video, really.
Who's probably going to come back around here in a little bit later. Okay, back to... Oh, Paka is playing with the camera right now. He's wanting to be the director of the show. Aha! Okay, so let's see if we can try this once more. I'm not going to go with the intro, and we're just going to keep this the way it is. I want to keep it real with you guys. I really don't do a lot of takes for these videos, okay? I'm not trying to make some slick where it's all perfect. I'm just trying to be Taren S and pass on a little bit of witchy inspiration to you witchy folks out there coming home for the first time. All right. What I want to talk about is creating sacred space.
Yes.
And
keeping it sacred.
Sacred
Paka.
And talking about casting a circle.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And it seems some folks think that these might be two separate things. And not understanding that when you cast a circle, you're creating sacred space. If you have created sacred space using prayers, chants, music, astral level, you don't have to cast a circle. Okay, you want to give us a quick your take on this one?
Well, it seems like they're the same thing. When if you want to break it down, what are you doing when you're casting a circle, and then what are you doing when you're creating sacred space? When you're casting a circle, you're opening up a place of divinity, a sacred place. It's the same thing in my mind. And so you don't have to...
I think sometimes we get lost in words.
Yeah. In rituals and in thinking that you have to do something a certain way.
And we hear that, oh, I have to cast a circle. And so we just think cast a circle, not understanding that that's really what we're doing is creating a sacred place, creating a protected place, creating a neutral place. It's so many different words.
Yes.
And it depends on what you're doing. If you are doing a Sabbat for celebration versus doing a full moon versus doing a dark moon, how you're going to create that space.
If you just want to do a little ritual in that morning on the fly to make sure that you get to work on time, you don't have to do the full establish a ritual and cast a sacred space and all that. You can just do a little spell, a little ritual, and that's your sacred space because you create it. That is your...
You can create sacred space anywhere, anytime.
Yes.
Whether you do it here in the physical realm or it's like what Dana's describing, standing in a parking lot, you are using your astral realm and you are connecting to the sacred fires that are always lit on the astral realms and using that to create sacredness around you. All right, so just because you don't walk a circle 3 times around doesn't mean you're doing it the wrong way. There is no wrong way.
Yes.
First, remember that. All right, the wrong way is when you're not feeling it and you do it anyway.
Yes, that would be considered the wrong way.
That is very, very wrong. All right, you need in here. All right, in here is where all the magic is. And a shout out, I am wearing some color. I had a video where I talked about the fact I only wear black, so I found one of my pretty Celtic catkins. I'm
wearing color too. There is the Gryffindor colors representing, as always.
And if you are a Harry Potter witch, celebrate that. All right, celebrate whoever you are. is what we're doing. But with the creating of sacred space,
Yes, back on track.
Back on track, because we're going to get off track and just go off down here.
You can do a whole video about Harry Potter.
Harry Potter witches. Yes, I believe we could do a whole video on Harry Potter witches. I think you guys are interesting. I'll give you that. But back to creating sacred spaces and where we do it, how we do it, when we do it. You do the way that fits best for what your particular working is. Oh, you get an appearance from Pocket in the background there. Did you see him?
Curiosity.
He's over here looking at...
He's such a good boy.
What's going on. We do have a previous video out on 5 witchy ways to cast a magical circle. All right, and those are not the only ways to create sacred space. That's just 5 witchy ways that we came up with, all right, that a lot of us here like and we use. Okay, they're not the only way.
No.
They're not that this is the 5 ways you must do ways. This is just 5 ways we came up with.
Imagine some poor soul does all 5. One ritual.
Dude, that's... I'm just saying. On that. But there are times that, yeah, you want to walk that space 3 times around. But other times... if you're doing a little working like we're on the window seal of your apartment, can become sacred space. Okay?
And that's what a lot of people talk about as well too. Like I remember when I first got into witchery, my concern was that I was living in my mom's house and that I didn't have a place to do ritual. And I realized that just because I'm alone inside my room with, 1 or 2 candles really, or even if you can't have candles, if you're just alone inside your room with a flashlight and you can have sacred space there. That can be your sacred space. Work with whatever you've got. If you're in a tiny little apartment, you can still create a sacred space with that. You can still cast circle. You can still do ritual. It can happen.
Absolutely. I went into I was out visiting witch folk one time, went into the bathroom, and they had a little altar set up on the back of the commode. It was just as cute as could be. It had a pretty little tray, everything. And when I came out of the bathroom, I, of course, was like, oh, beautiful altar. And she was like, space is at a premium. And that was where they had one of their working altars. So be creative, be witchy, and you will find all sorts of places to create sacred space.
Yes.
All right? Put those books down. Get out of your own head and just go be you.
If it helps that you memorize a cast and you have a thing that you do each time, a ritual, if that makes it real for you, then absolutely. But if you don't, then that's fine as well too.
A lot of times, and the circle cast that we use, which will, may I have that please? We'll this is a perfect time for a shout out. As the secret grimoire of the witch's cottage. This has the necessary knowledge for a dedicant witch. That is a witch which is going through their first year in a day and considering to join a coven or have a coven considering to asking for them to join them. Blah, 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 blah. All right, but...
Impressive.
I know. In here, we have Doreen Valente's circle cast because the witches here at the cottage use it. We've changed a couple of words to fit our energies. We always acknowledge that this is Doreen's circle cast, that we have tweaked a little. So in our books, we write Doreen's name underneath it. I think most of the witches which have been in the community are familiar with the circle cast, in which is black spirits in white, red spirits in gray. Hearken to the rune I say. 4 points weave the spell, east, south, west, and north, your tale to tell. East is for the break of day, south is for the noontide hour, in the west is twilight gray, and north to the place of power. And then there's some lines beyond it. I'm not going to finish this complete circle.
Etc., etc., etc.
Etc., etc.
Doreen was wonderful with words, but she had many.
And we like that cast.
Yes.
So for us, we've all memorized it. we use it, and sometimes we do it individually, sometimes we do it as a group. It's a great way to raise the voice of one, but also this is one of many, many ways that we use to create sacred space. All right, and if you don't want to go and buy a copy of our book, you can Google it. It is all over the internet.
Pray to the Google gods.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm not trying to tell folks they need to get any of my stuff. All right, I do appreciate not, because we need to keep the lights on here in the cottage so that we can keep filming for y'all. But there are several good, you don't have, what I'm trying to say is you don't have to try and write it all yourself. Okay? If you are not, Doreen Valente's words don't ring with you, we have so many talented witchy pagan authors, poets, so just find the ones that resonate with you. But if you choose to use someone else's words, always give them credit.
Yes.
Okay? Because like with Doreen Valente, who is Passed Between the Veils, all right, she knows what we're doing. Okay? And when we give her honor and put that, that we got a little bit of Doreen energy in there. When you're doing it right, the spirit realms are going to connect and help you. And when you're doing it wrong, they're going to stomp on you. All right? So you lie to all the folks you want to, but you cannot lie in spirit realms. They know the truth. So make sure that your words are always honorable. And that way you don't ever have to worry, okay? Because lightning ain't going to strike you. And that's just a little bit of wisdom there from an old witch, okay? But cite your sources.
Yes.
In your grimoire, BOS journal, whatever you call your book, make sure you write down the name of where you got it from. Give those people the honor, the reverence, and the respect that's their due.
And it keeps them alive by saying their name.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We speak those in which have left us so they can be remembered. They've given us so much, okay? So we do need to show them a little bit of respect, a little bit of memorializing, and which is I will be telling that story. I'm getting to it. I've told it here locally and several folks like it. So pay attention if you're looking for my memorializing video where I tell you the real history of Memorial Day. Oh. As a Southerner, I know the truth.
Stay tuned.
We'll leave it at that because I know you'll be like, what is she talking about?
Stay tuned.
So back on sacred space.
Yes.
You can create it anywhere, everywhere, anytime. All right. Don't get caught up in trying to do it some certain way. That's the whole thing we just tried to talk about here.
In a nutshell.
Yeah, pretty much. So thank you for joining us here at the House of Witchcraft. As always, please press like, subscribe, and share. And have a bright, blessed day. Amen. Ashe, blessed be, and A-bubbo. Too funny. Okay. And 1, 2, 3.